I'm Lynda. I'm like on the verge of an anxiety attack, so bear with me. Wasn't expecting quite this many, so it's going to take me a moment. So if I suddenly tear up, my apologies, but hopefully of all the panels, people will be understanding. Okay, so like I said, my name is Lynda Bernhardt. The few times I play Minecraft when I don't get completely lost, my name is P&J Mommy. I really didn't expect to be the only person up here when I wrote the proposal for this panel, and so it's kind of a little wow. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover basically autism in general. This is the serious part. I'm going to assume that most people who are here have a clue what autism is, and that's why they're here, but I figured I should do the official part. Then I'm going to do my personal angle. That's me as a mom, so you're going to see a whole lot of pictures when I just tell you a lot of stories. And then where I want to go with this, both as a scientist and as a public administrator. I also, if you see, included a moment at the end where I get completely and totally overwhelmed for a moment, and then open for questions. I really did try to account for everything. I didn't account for this, though. So I guess first I should give you a quick little thing about me and why it says like as a scientist and public admin as well as mom. Currently I teach biology for college, and what I normally tell them at the first day of every class is I'm also a high school dropout, so I'm like a weird one. I finished 9th grade and didn't go back, and then I went back to college in 2005, and once I started going to college I liked it. So by the end of 2009, I had a bachelor's in biology and a bachelor's in philosophy, jumped right into master's, where I then worked for the master's of biology, master's of public administration, where I then fell in love with the idea of public administration, so now I'm currently working on my doctorate of public administration. I don't know how to stop. That's pretty much it. When I get to the personal angle as a mommy, you'll understand more of why the public admin, but I wanted to give you a clue because I have a whole lot of weird hats, basically, to get everywhere. Okay, pervasive developmental disorders, PDD. This is what used to be the umbrella that everything is under. I don't know if everybody knows now. As of May, the ruling is that everything is just autism. There is no official Asperger's anymore. It's just autism. So I just wanted to cover, these are the older names, but I want to make sure you're aware of what they were. A lot of people basically say that you can see a lot of the symptoms as early as newborns or infants, a lot of them not until later. And the higher functioning, I think I get to that in a moment, tend to be much later. And you then run into a lot of people who say, well, you can't possibly be autistic. They would have been diagnosed when they were 2. And that's not true. And so it's kind of like my big old soapbox right there. Some of the symptoms for the PDDs tend to be like using and understanding language, difficulty relating with people and objects, events, unusual play with toys and other objects. In other words, we like things nice, long, straight lines. They're pretty. Difficulty with changes in routine and familiar surroundings. We like everything to be nice and predictable, orderly, which is why I was laughing that everybody was very nice about filling in their seats and letting people know. So much better. Okay. Hey, I was the squisher in the main thing earlier today. It was driving me crazy. Whew, it was hard. People got mad at me. Okay, now children with PDD are going to vary widely in abilities and intelligence and behaviors. This is why you can't simply say, well, I can tell somebody is autistic by looking at them. That's a load of crap. Everybody is different. Some might not speak at all, others might be in certain phrases, others might be just unbelievably intelligent. It's kind of just like what they call neurotypical, the normal people. You're going to have all scales, and like I said, that's kind of my soapbox issue right there. Repetitive play skills and limited social skills are normally rather noticeable, and unusual responses to sensory information like loud noises and lights are also common. What that is known as is comorbidity, where it's more than one thing at a time, and that one normally falls under the line of sensory processing disorder. And a lot of children have the sensory processing disorders, they go to get checked out, then they get diagnosed with autism, and then people forget about the sensory processing disorder and say, oh, this will fix everything, and it doesn't. So they're two totally different things. Yeah, we've been down that road. Okay, now autism. When it was kept separate from just the regular PDDs, autism was considered the most characteristic and best studied. We used to have classical autism or autistic disorder known as ASD, and that was considered the most severe. The main features of this would mostly be impaired social interaction. Sometimes they don't want to answer to their name, not making eye contact, not looking around at people, stuff like that, but everything else might seem rather normal, or they could also seem completely like every other kid, but then as they get older, they just kind of gravitate this direction. You guys ready for the first picture? Here we go. Can you pick my son that has Asperger's? Believe it or not, yeah, he's having a good time. He's wearing his social shirt, which says, you read my t-shirt, that's enough social interaction for today. I got him that for Christmas 2 years ago. Almost every time we go somewhere public, he puts that on. We have pictures of us at medieval times, this and that. Everybody else is smiling. People come up, is he having fun? He's like waving the flag, but it's not that he's not having fun. Yeah, that's him. And that's part of the autistic part. They don't get the social cues. They don't understand the tone of voice. He's 14 now. We're going through that where I have to explain to him, he's hurting my feelings when he says it like this. And I'm like, I know you're not meaning it, but tone really does hurt. So this is one of those issues. Now, high-functioning autism. This is at one end of the autism spectrum. This tends to be more of what I lean towards, the high-functioning and Asperger's, even though Asperger's technically doesn't exist, and everybody keeps telling me I have to remember to say that, otherwise it doesn't match the medical stuff. I'm still always going to say Aspie. Well, these guys, signs and symptoms are less severe, and most of the time, they tend to have average or above average intelligence. The picture there, if you could see closely, is just an image, a recent one of my son, where he got birthday money in August, and I'd say probably most children are going to do something and buy nifty little things. The first thing he did was he got himself ordained online, because he's trying to start his own religion. He hasn't decided what yet, but then he could decide how many holidays he gets off school if it's a religious holiday. What he's holding here, if you can see very closely, is he also bought himself a title. So legally he is, and I am telling you exactly what it says, Grandmaster Brain Wizard. You can actually purchase a title online. I think it was $30. So we have these. We're about to frame them as soon as we have the money for it, but yeah. Now, unlike other forms of autism, a lot of times they actually might want to be involved with other people. They just don't know how to go about it. They don't quite understand the jokes, the jibes, the little, different types of emotions. They're not great at reading the facial expressions or body language. However, Jacob can tell you, quoting straight from a book or a web page, exactly how to tell if somebody's lying, which way their eyes go, and everything you're supposed to do, but when it's face-to-face, it doesn't work. He knows it here, but not here. This is just more information about Asperger's. Basically, they want to know everything about their topic of interest. And when they're talking about it, they don't have a clue whether or not you care about what they're talking about. And you might be walking around the house and they're following you room to room and they're telling you all about the physics of Star Wars, which we went through that. We actually have a book. He had that when he was 8. Then we also have Minecraft. That one's at least more interesting. We did the dinosaurs, Right now he's on a rant about William Shakespeare, and he wrote an essay on why Romeo and Juliet should not be taught in school, and he ended, his conclusion begins with something along the lines of, it's not really a love story, it's a 3-day relationship that ends with more deaths than the average serial kills in a year. Or I'm sorry, in a lifetime. Wasn't it great? Yeah, I sent it to his teacher and said, good luck. And she replied and said she actually agrees a lot. So you guys at least get the idea. Now, again, a little bit more of the serious Asperger part. A lot of times, developmental delays in motor skills. Jacob, my little one, he was actually walking at 7 months. Freaky. And I didn't even write it on the calendar because a 7-month-old is not supposed to walk, and it was really freaky, so I didn't count it. However, not really coordinated. So the year he decided to try out for basketball, it was kind of interesting to watch. He had never played basketball until the day of tryouts. He was then very grateful he didn't make it because he said that's a lot of work. But yeah. Now, this is an example. Jacob wanted to be in Cub Scouts, and he's now actually, I think, a first-class Boy Scout. But this is an image I took a while back. It's really blurry because you may have noticed I'm not the steadiest of souls. But I took it at the time because it really stood out to me that he thinks he's in the group right here. But if you're looking at it, you clearly see he's not. But in his mind, he is right there with the group. We have been with these Boy Scouts for quite some time now. We then merged into a larger group a little over 2 years ago, and it has taken him 2 years to where now he's actually talking to everybody and he's making jokes, and now everyone's like, oh my God, he's so funny. I'm like, yeah, I know, you have to give him time. But I wanted to bring that because this is the social aspect. We're almost done with the serious parts here, or the educational parts. I just wanted to throw in some numbers because a lot of people seem to think it's not a whole lot of people have autism, but in 2008, about 1 in 88 children were identified on the autism spectrum. And that is only counting the kids who were tested up to age 8. It does not include anybody over the age of 8, and my son was over 8 when he was diagnosed, and it doesn't include adults. But that's a high number right there. And then why it's important to think about all of these things. That's okay. I was just noticing the title in here. I was like, I thought I put something different there. I got totally distracted. And I forgot to announce who I got the background from. It's Jab, Jab, Jab on DeviantArt, and I sent him a message and said I was going to announce that at the beginning, and I forgot. But hey, I remembered. I don't want to steal it, Okay, anyway. High-functioning autism and Asperger's tend to continue having challenges. In children, more often than not, they're just said that their behavior isn't matching everybody else, or they're not talking like everybody else. Kindergarten, I got called in because they wanted me to have Jacob talk lower. I don't know how else to word it, to match the other kids. And I said, why don't you teach the other kids some vocabulary and bring them up? They didn't like that. But they stuck to it because I'm not going to tell my kid to dumb it down. But he's great at memorizing stuff, so normally young children do great academically. Then they get a little bit older, and the lack of social skills starts to get issues. If they're anything like my son, and you hit middle school, and they just throw 8,004 worksheets at you that make no sense on why you're doing them, your grades start to go like this, because why are you doing it if you already know it? So that's been a big thing we've done. And then in adults, a lot of times it can be difficult to live independently as adults. It doesn't mean they can't, but sometimes it takes a little more effort. It's not just like, hey, you're 18, go. There's a little more of a transition needed. Now, for the personal stuff, why I love Minecraft. Believe it or not, that's actually both my kids. You can only see the bottom half of my older son. I did this just because obviously both of them love building. They love order. This is a picture of Jacob on the side with his homemade goggles made from a baseball and bottle cap, or jug caps, like off of Powerades. He thought it was really nifty and wanted to wear it everywhere and couldn't understand why people looked at him weird. I think it's really creative. Kind of makes him a target, just a little bit. Here's a Boy Scout time. We're camping out. We have the group, and then we have what Jacob's doing during the group. Totally enjoying himself in his own little world, not quite with the group. All Our house, our life, loves Legos. That's his 12th birthday, downtown Disney. He thought he was in heaven with that wall o' Legos. I know, it's great, isn't it? We go back every chance we get. The other image, parents may understand, it's the importance of your computer when things get spilled on the keyboard. You can't just say, sorry, you can't play the computer. You learn quickly how to wash that sucker off, and you dry that thing so you can use it again. This has happened more than once. Now, how I ended up falling in love with Minecraft. Jacob, this is him getting, I think, what is that, the EEG? He had a tick for a long time where he couldn't stop snapping his head like this. So we went through the neurologists and stuff like that. When he was having his harder times in having complete and total shutdowns where he can't even answer, what is your name? He can't answer it. For him, it was a whine of, I don't know. And he wasn't being whiny or pestery. It's just his brain wasn't going to do it. I was still learning about everything, and I would do things like, well, do you want to sit over here? I don't know. Do you want me to pull you? And I was making it worse because I kept asking him because I didn't want to bully him or push him around, but I was making it worse. One of the things we found was Minecraft would help calm him down. So then later, when we decided to try medicine for the first time, because I was petrified to try medicine, but Jacob has Asperger's, social anxiety, general anxiety, acute agoraphobia, and sensory processing disorder. When he came up and told me he was tired of being anxious and he wanted to try medicine, I realized me saying no wasn't fair to him anymore. So we tried it. It did not go well. I wish I had spotted the signs earlier because it got to where he was picking holes in his arm, and I thought it was just not being able to leave a bug bite alone. We were like wrapping his arm at night in gauze, and then it ended up him having full-fledged hallucinations at school, and it got really rather scary. So how I would calm him down was Minecraft. Talked about Minecraft. We had screenshots of Minecraft. We talked about, what are you doing with Minecraft? How are you building this? What do you want to do with that? I learned so much about Minecraft, it was crazy. But then I yanked him off the medicine. We took him to the emergency room because I thought they had to be able to have something to flush it out, and they said, no, you're supposed to taper off, and I'm like, no. So we went home. I just took him straight off of it, which apparently can throw you for a loop, and he would just fall off a chair because his balance would be gone like that. But we played Minecraft, and that's what helped keep him calm. That's when I started to absolutely love Minecraft. It's also what brought me to doing the DPA, because where I live, I am just a couple of miles north of the Florida border. I'm Lake Park, Georgia, really close. And we have nothing for the autistic community, nothing. And all I kept thinking was, if I had had somebody to run interference at the emergency room, somebody to explain to the nurse, no, you can't just yank his arm, do this, do that. You need to stop, you need to explain it. If I could have just somebody to answer the question so I could help keep him calm and I could try to keep my own panic as a mom down, life would be easier. So I started the doctorate for public administration to open a nonprofit so I can do an education and support thing about autism in my area. I want to bring Minecraft into it, and I'm going to get to that in just one moment. Here's Jacob last Christmas with his Boy Scout troop. Tell me if you can find him. Not quite. He's the one wearing the gas mask. So he was the top popcorn seller last year, got an Amazon gift card, and I teach biology classes, and I get an email, a little ping, and I check it, and from Amazon it says, your Israeli civilian gas mask with hydration tube and whatever filter has been shipped. I'm like, before that, he bought Shuriken stars, all on my account. So I asked him to please not buy weapons for a little while. I have no doubt we're on, some kind of watch list. But his Boy Scout troop found when he could wear his gas mask, he was more social. He would stay in the group. He would do the group photo. Believe it or not, he's smiling under there. You can't see it, but he's smiling. I tried to tell him he couldn't wear the gas mask for this part because this was the Court of Honors. They're getting all their badges, and the leader, the guy with the white beard in the back, he said, as long as you tuck in your shirt, I'm fine. Okay. So we have worked very hard to find somewhere where he can belong. MINECON, the first one, that was right after all of the hallucinations and me falling in love with Minecraft because of what it could do for my kids. So we came to the first MINECON. We are not rich people. We are probably some of the poorest people you will meet. I am one of those people where I'm striving to hit poverty. I am an adjunct professor, can't find a full-time job. However, I will move every mountain to get him to here because that MINECON was the first time he was ever to go anywhere who he could turn to anybody and talk, and everyone was interested in what he said. Nobody glazed over, and that's what he said. I asked him, it's going to be a crowd, are you going to be okay? And he goes, yes, it's great because I turn and they listen. And that's where I normally start to tear. So I fell in love with Minecraft. I cannot say enough good things about Minecraft. So I was on a panel on the first MINECON. I volunteered to do the one about social interaction. And that's how he got to meet all these lovely people. And the kid who looks, that's Pax, that's my older son. He's just funny, he's a sweetheart. Now, computer time. We went to the beach. Yeah. If you look closely, you'll see it's Minecraft on those laptops. The little kid in the front is my nephew, Nicholas. He has ADHD. He's extremely, extremely hyper. When I told my sister he should try Minecraft, she said, you can give it to him, but he'll only play it for 2 minutes. Nothing keeps his attention. She was wrong. That is our cat, Fang. He gets tired of Jacob playing Minecraft. That is one of my favorite pictures ever. I don't know which is funnier, the cat or the look on Jacob's face. Now, I want to show also Jacob's humor. Okay. Can you read that Post-it? Yeah, reminder, don't die. And then he built a little rock house. Now, the gingerbread house I wanted to point out because it's just another epitome of his personality and his humor. When you look at the gingerbread house, what you have to notice is it's a gingerbread house. The little guy with the cane is House. Dr. House. He wanted me to make sure to include that. He's very proud of his, gingerbread house. Now, he is known as Abandoned QWERTY, and apparently it did not save the last adjustments I made to this, so I'm not insane. This is how he sees himself. He drew himself with, paint on the computer, and that's him holding his certificate becoming ordained. That is his Friday outfit, his button-down shirt and his Doctor Who bow tie. His hair is normally rather messy, but that was picture day, and so he used half a thing of gel that I didn't know we owned. Because you're supposed to dress up for picture day. So there we go. Now, the final part is, I told you the reason I'm trying to get my DPA. It's in order to open the nonprofit. Where I want to use Minecraft for this is, Minecraft also helped Jacob socialize. He will talk like crazy to people online. He has so many online buddies, and when you ask him about his friends in real life, yeah, I got friends. What are their names? I don't know. Minecraft, holy crap, he'll start throwing all those names off just like that. However, I see somewhere that we can go further with Minecraft, and this is what I want to do whenever I get my nonprofits opened, is a lot of time the switching to a new school or place tends to be the most nerve-wracking, and I am thinking that if we have a group and work with it, and I would love this to go everywhere, if you get blueprints of the school, build it in Minecraft. Let the kid over the summer love his school in Minecraft. Learn the schedule. Every time there's a schedule change, play with it. Know where the nurse's station is. Know where the bathroom is in Minecraft. And then when they show up in person, we have actually gone into their world. And that's with my thing here. It's because a child with autism's not ignoring you. They're waiting for you to enter their world. And that's what Minecraft, I think, has done, is it's made it where we can. My hope for this, obviously, is the nonprofit, but I also really am hoping to start a research thing to see how much it helps different people with autism, because I know a lot of people say, oh, it's just a game, but it's more than that. And I think that's it, and I didn't burst into tears. Yay! Talking about what? You?
That kid seems like me.
Well, you are exactly right then. Yes?
What do you think it is about Minecraft that makes that connection?
Order. Everything is completely and totally predictable and completely and totally logical. If you want a house, you get your wood. If you want a window, you go get sand and you turn it into glass. There's no eek, but they can still have the excitement in their order by throwing in the zombies, the creeper. I love creepers. But you can throw all those suckers in there so they can have the, I don't know, for lack of a better phrase, controlled chaos. Or that's just my opinion anyway. Yeah.
We have a grandson that has Asperger's. He just turned 8. And some of the things that you said, we could totally relate to. But our other grandson who is here is totally into Minecraft. When the other grandson comes over, he watches Connor, and so I've said to my son and daughter-in-law, you should maybe let him do Minecraft, but their concern is the going online part. So my question to you is, at what age did you, that part go?
You reminded me of something that I forgot to mention. But first I'm going to answer that, then I'm going to do the part I forgot to mention. Is in my house, we have a computer. It's in the living room, and I can always see the screen. That's how they've been since day one. You cannot be on a computer online if I can't see the screen. It's a desktop, not a laptop, and my older son, who's now 18, he still has to do it on the coffee table, so I always can say. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and stare, but I can always spot check, and that keeps it there. But I wanted to mention, I just found out it opened, I think, just a couple of months ago, Autcraft. Has anyone heard of that? AUT Craft, and I think what I was told is it's a private dedicated server for the autistic community and their loved ones. I have not been to it, but I just heard about it, so I wanted to make sure to mention it. Yes.
And they can't destroy, so we keep everything calm for the Aspies, because no one's going to come in and destroy what they built. So that's.
Are you with that?
I'm sorry.
Are you with Autcraft?
No, but my son, my autistic Aspie son, took me to it, so we've all signed up, and we all are on the server, so they're really good. I highly recommend them.
Yeah, I just found out about it like a couple of days ago.
How does your son with autism react to creepers? And when he first got onto a server, how did he react to creepers and trollers and cursors?
At the beginning, we were very controlled, and so he didn't have to. The first couple of times it started happening, it was like people destroying what he had built, and it did not go well at all. And so he taught himself to open his own server, and that's how he solved the problem. Is he just made his own server and then put himself in God mode and flew all over the place, and I was really confused. I see a hand. Okay.
I was just going to say, when you were asking about some of the benefits too, my son, I guess, PDD MS, but also had a lot of visual tracking issues and would like read part of a sentence and skip to the part of the second sentence. So we did all this eye training on the computer, this report. It didn't really click, but then when we started doing Minecraft,
That's some of the stuff I would love to actually research.
Yeah.
What do you think about entering the Minecraft world with your kid, so that you can communicate in Minecraft
I think it's wonderful.
and have you done it?
I think it's wonderful, yes, and my son has to save me often because he'll bring me into stuff and go, I want to test this out, come on in here, and I'm horrible at Minecraft, I mean, horrible. And I'm trying, I haven't even finished building a house, and I get lost, and I have yet to find water. But he brought me into one and said, here, I'm going to give you this, you feed it to the wolf, and then I beat the wolf with it because I hit the wrong thing, and then they're all attacking me, and he has to save me, and so I think that made him feel better because he is so much better at it than me, and so he just has to school me.
Is it a straighter line of communication on Minecraft?
Well, he and I will do it in the same room, and so we'll be talking while we do it. So it's just, but he doesn't have to look at me. He's here doing that and laughing at me because I'm getting mauled. He's 14 now.
How old was he when you began the Minecraft experience?
I don't know. To be honest, he was playing a pirated version first, and I don't know for how long. It's just, I would look, and he's like, look what I did. I'm like, it's a bunch of blocks. I was very confused. I didn't really appreciate it until both of my kids did yard work for other people to save up money the summer of the first MINECON in order to purchase Minecraft. Both of them bought their own thing, and then that's when I started to go, wait a minute, this isn't just some little game. That was, what was that? Was that 2010?
Yeah, 2010. That was 2011 is the first time.
Okay, so it's 2011, so that was just a couple of years ago, so 12 maybe, but he was playing it before then. I just didn't know anything until then. And you had,
My name is also Jacob.
yeah, it's a good name.
Also, thing I want to point out is that you can turn into a monster spawn in survival, and you don't need a server to go into God mode.
Oh, he's learned that since then. Yeah, he learned it since then. His first thing was, I just need to stop this, so he went, psh, I'll just make my own, because that's what he does. And did you remember your question?
Yes.
Okay.
I was simply gonna ask, does your son prefer playing in creative or survival mode?
I believe survival. When he does creative, he does really weird things, like builds elaborate things for you to jump through, and then you flip a switch, and all that does is make something come up to put it back. But in survival mode, he goes all over the place. I get completely lost. I don't understand half of what's happening anymore. Yes. I know he does that. Not always, but a lot of times. Yes.
As for your nonprofit that you're mentioning, how do you envision basically Minecraft being integrated into the programs for autism?
I have two things I want to do. One is the building up of like the schools online, so then they can see that, and we have a decent number of schools, and so I would need to talk to all the different school systems. The other part is I work at Valdosta State University area, and I actually teach for a different college on their campus, but I'm a student with Valdosta State University, and I'm trying to get them involved to see if we can like put it on the library computers and meet there, so the kids who aren't comfortable talking face to face can all be in the same room playing the game and communicating, kind of like what's happening here. But it would all be local, and my hope is that that would then help them be more comfortable with those people when they're not there. Yes.
My name is Jacob also.
See, it's a great name.
One thing that like I learned the hard way is on servers, if a kid goes on the server, it normally says whether griefing or destroying objects of other people's is allowed or not. So like that could help some parents if they want to use it.
Are you parents asking the question here, that one?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I also have my brother with Asperger's who's also 15, so I was wondering.
I was about to ask if he was Jacob.
But is there any other things that your son enjoys?
Yeah. Minecraft was the biggest and the greatest and the one that still has my heart, but he is a huge Gary's Mod thing. He's been doing the Fallout stuff, and I can't remember the name of another one. He does all these goofy ones, but it's a lot of people he met through Minecraft. They then go there and they play these together. So it's still social. It's a little more on the But they're still funny the way he does them. So, yes,
Do you say he plays Gary's mod?
yes.
Awesome, I was dying for that.
He is a nut for Gary's mod, and it really freaked me out the first time I saw it. I was like, why does it look like there's some body just hanging there? He's like, oh, I'm just placing it over here. So, okay, I think we are done. I'm being told this.
You've written a book.
No.
I'm a grandparent, and I've gotten so much out of this, what you said today, your experiences. We just have, our own grandson, what we see from him, highly, highly intelligent, but immaturity level is like this.
Yeah.
But, unique.
Thank you.